realize I haven't spoken at all about what if consciousness is almost entirely primarily quantum instead. That's going to make things more complicated, you could say. The distinction between the two things is valid, but to say that they're entirely separate, or that what we were assuming in the alternative was substantially independent of quantum, no, it would be necessary anyway if we wanted to achieve greater expanses of it. There's still the fact that localized things would be simpler as in a smaller part of the overall grid, but the fact just that it is quantum makes even a smaller and simpler sample of it more complicated by its very nature, insofar as I can currently tell, and that's going to change, yeah, for sure. Just change, no real other details. You've got wave-particle duality, you've got superposition, you've got quantum entanglement and spooky action at a distance, which is just tomato, except tomato's actually wrong. And so, why do I see articles that dark matter's been removed, at least from its level of importance? There's so much information, such a great degree of it, that there is an extent and expanse. It all specializes and meets everywhere. It's just not hyperlinked by the authors, or even Wikipedia. They're hyperlinked in a different way, I think. That's really the only way it could make sense, is all that it could be, it's what it must be. The issue with elaborating on this thoroughly is that I know substantially less about quantum physics than I do about I'm a human in this body, in this little video game-esque space, right? I can go and do things, and I can take actions and cause things to change and evolve and be accomplished. The way that you would do that would need to be done sort of as this physical thing, depending on how changed you are at different steps of it. So, you have to plan for it that way. But then there's technicalities and actual entire ways that the whole thing works and is even looked at or approached, for example, the tryptophan structures and the microtubules and the quantum collapse. There's also morphic cellular genetics, Michael Levin, that's going to be interesting. But between all of this stuff, really diving deep and even putting together what I have so far on things, because I do have more on what this in the last couple of shorts have been about, quantum quantum additions of neurosynthetic Terramine transcendence. Good thing that something that is more enabled and equipped would be better to able to understand such a complex thing as that. If you take quantum physics in the brain, those are the most complicated things we know. Quantum physics, we aren't at all as evolved creatures, though, so as brains, we're it's more familiar territory. But even though I have some things on this, I need to do about 1,000 times more research than I already have, and hopefully it'd be more quality. But here's the issue. The issue is pretty substantial. I could write an essay about it, because I can't do that. I'm suffering and struggling from neurological issues and logistical problems, just realistic. They're dogging on me. I'm just getting beaten down really decently. Could be a lot worse, though. That is for sure. And so, the biggest problem is, am I really a great thinker, dude? Is it even worth gathering my thoughts? Is anyone... Dude, okay, maybe some people could take it seriously, maybe I could make some good points, but is that really how it is? Is he actually onto something? Good question, is any as likely an outcome as any? Quite literally, there's nothing for or against. But, I do know one thing, and it kind of sucks. It's a down. I'm like a sick, poor person in America, and not as much those things as I could be, but they're kind of collapsing, and you look around the world, and there's this thing in physics called vacuum decay, where somewhere in the universe there's a higher energy state that collapses to a lower energy state, and it was kind of holding it all together like a rubber band, and then it all comes tumbling down. You can imagine it like a bed sheet, like hung here, and you have the rubber band, and then it kind of, you can't see that too well, but it folds and flaps down. Like the energy that a ball has on a ledge. Potential energy. Collapsing down into, I don't even know how we would relatably convey what that would be actually, in actuality. It's kind of like the exact same situation on Earth. We couldn't really have a more catastrophic. And anyway, this sort of thing, man, the ability for something to reach a higher state, and it's basically quite literally, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. Having some trouble speaking. Might have had a antibiotic reaction, but it's whatever. No, I'm fine, really, it's okay. I'll just drown over here passive-aggressively. Imagine the skit could go hard. But I think of things like that, and then I think of things like essays, and I think things like the grandest purpose of life in all the cosmos. If I tried to expand myself in my currently limited form to imagine what the true bounds and expanses of life could be beyond just my life form experience. What is the ultimate goal of it? Hold on, my buddy's calling me. To grow and evolve and expand and self-actualize, and I mean, it's sort of limitless in a way, as far as we understand it now. But the truth is we have to work in this terrible state in order to navigate towards that higher place. I'm just gonna go to the next. You just have to act like you're a skeleton and a brain and all that, while you are to get through there and out of there, honestly, to where you should be in your worldly mind, as opposed to, what do you call it, like, it's like you're in a container, like you're packaged up, nice and securely in yourself, and then you realize that the securely is actually not very much so itself or strong at all. It snaps you back to daily problems, as does everything that ruins the fun. Always does. It always do. And then you are faced with the current state of things. It's all changing so fast and collapsing either way that it won't even matter. The world will change. You gotta catch the house of cards before they fall, right? I mean, it hurts me to not be able to say with confidence that we'll leverage all of the good things that we have right now, stability-wise, and able to also evolve and expand and do that collaboratively, safely, together well, efficiently, cleanly, in a lot of different senses. Like, while we can, time is limited, we should still do it while there's still time left. If things change, it would still be the exact process of leverage and optimization and capitalization on the pervading sources of good still remaining in the world. It's not as though the way things are now, there wouldn't be bad things that would disrupt it. But things could reach a point where it's interminably bad in both the normal human way and the quantum god. Maybe my ideas are not important at all. Maybe nothing is. Maybe everything will collapse. And as humans, or just the way we are, we'll fail in that regard. Or we could fail as like weird transhumanism things. There's I guess a bunch of ways things could go. A couple of major branching weird ones. There's way more than a couple, dude. However, something that becomes all things at every single level in the most harmonious way that it actually could, period, at all, it maximized, then you no longer need to worry about something imploding on itself. It's equally likely to explode. It's balanced all things perfectly. Everything is exactly as it should be, and as it is forever.